don't have to be perfect to be loved. You just have to be you. See, most people are busy wearing a mask, busy pretending, busy hiding their fears, their past, their imperfections. But here's the truth. God doesn't fall in love with your mask. He doesn't care about the version of you that pleases the crowd. He's not impressed by your titles, your social media, or your highlight reel. What touches him is your realness, the honest you, the hurting you, the dreaming you, the struggling you. You don't have to act flawless to be valuable. You were created with worth already built in. The real you, with scars, mistakes, fears, hopes, and all, that's the one God sees. And that's the one he loves. Now maybe you've messed up. Maybe you've fallen short. Maybe you've drifted far from who you wanted to be. But God hasn't moved. He hasn't changed his mind about you. You don't need to beg for approval. You don't need to chase validation. All you need to do is return to authenticity. Strip away the pressure to impress. Strip away the weight of expectations. Come back to who you really are, because the real you is exactly who God loves. He made you with intent. He crafted you with care. And no mistake, no failure, no label from others can undo the love he has for the real version of you. And when you start living from that truth, that God loves the real you, you stop pretending, you stop performing, and you start becoming. Authenticity is more powerful than perfection. You don't have to be flawless to be loved. The world teaches us to polish, to perfect, to edit our lives until they look like something worthy of applause. But deep down, we know the truth. Perfection is an illusion, and chasing it can leave us feeling empty, disconnected, and exhausted. But what people truly connect with isn't your perfection. It's your honesty. It's your vulnerability. It's your courage to show up as you are, messy, growing, and real. There is strength in saying, this is who I am, not who I pretend to be, not who I think you want me to be, but who I truly am. Because when you show up real, you give others permission to do the same. And suddenly your relationships deepen, your conversations shift, your presence becomes powerful. You stop performing, you stop chasing approval, and you start living with peace because there's nothing to hide. Nothing to prove. Authenticity doesn't mean you're without flaws. It means you're brave enough to be seen with them. It means you value truth more than image. It means you choose connection over perfection. People are drawn to what's real. Not to the perfect smile, but to the honest struggle behind it. Not to the filtered photo, but to the story that made you who you are. Your scars speak louder than your trophies. Your truth echoes louder than your presentation. And the beautiful thing is, you are already enough. Not when you fix everything. Not when you meet every standard. But right now, in your current state, you are lovable as is. You are worthy as is. You are seen as is. So breathe. Let go of the need to be flawless. Let go of the burden to impress. And choose to be real. Because the real you is what this world needs. Not another imitation. Not another performance. Just you. And that is more than enough. Masks don't attract divine love. Truth does. God values your real self, not your polished image. We live in a world that often rewards appearances. Say the right things, wear the right smile, keep your flaws hidden. But while people may be fooled by the mask, God sees beyond it. He doesn't love the version of you that tries to impress. He loves the version of you that's real, raw, unfiltered, and honest. You don't need to hide your struggles from the one who already knows them. You don't need to dress up your brokenness to gain acceptance, because divine love isn't shallow. It doesn't skim the surface. It dives deep. God doesn't love who you pretend to be. He loves who he created you to be. And that person is not found in your performance, but in your presence. The real you behind the mask, behind the fear, behind the doubt. It's not your perfection that moves his heart. It's your truth. It's your humility. It's your willingness to be seen, fully and honestly. You might be tempted to hide, to silence your pain, to pretend everything's fine when it's not. But the mask creates distance, not closeness. It may protect you from judgment, but it also blocks intimacy with others. And with God, there is freedom in being known, even when you're still healing, even when you're still learning, even when you're still growing. You don't have to wait until you've cleaned up your life to be worthy of love. You already are, right now, not in spite of your imperfections, but with them. God didn't create a masterpiece just to ask it to be something else. He designed you with purpose, with care, with love. And that love doesn't go away when you fall short, doesn't fade when you fail. It stays, it remains. So take off the mask, step into the light. Let yourself be fully seen, because it's not the perfect version of you that's loved. It's the real one. You were born with built-in worth. Value isn't earned, it's designed. From the very beginning, before you ever accomplished a thing, before you spoke a word, before you won any awards or gained any approval, you were valuable. Not because of what you would do, but because of who you are. Your worth is not tied to your productivity. It's not based on how many followers you have or how much money you make. It doesn't rise and fall with people's opinions. It doesn't depend on your performance. You don't have to hustle to be enough. You already are. You were crafted with intention. Every detail of your being, your voice, your heart, your presence, was designed with care. You carry something unique, something the world didn't have until you showed up. That means your value isn't up for debate. It's not something others can give you or take away. It's not something you can lose, because it's something you are. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to beg for belonging. You are not a product to be measured. You are a soul to be honored. Yes, you'll grow. Yes, you'll improve. Yes, you'll reach for more. But none of that makes you more valuable. Because value doesn't increase with achievements, it just is. Even in your low moments, even when you failed, even when you feel unseen or unworthy, the truth hasn't changed. You matter. You are enough. You are loved. You are loved. There's nothing you can do to lose that truth, and there's nothing you need to do to earn it. Stop measuring yourself by outside standards. Stop looking for validation in places that can't give it. Start recognizing the truth that's always been there. You were made with purpose. You were made with meaning, and you were made with worth already placed inside you. That's not arrogance. That's not ego. That's truth. And once you realize that truth, you walk differently. You live differently. Because you know, you never had to become worthy. You were born that way. You were born that way. Struggles and failures don't disqualify you. They make you human and lovable. We live in a world that hides its cracks. A world where people showcase their highlight reels and bury their battles. But the truth is, no one gets through life without falling, without scars, without moments they wish they could erase. Yet somehow we've convinced ourselves that failure means we're broken, that struggle makes us less, that mistakes define us. But that's not the truth. That's fear talking. That's shame whispering lies. Struggles don't make you unworthy. They make you real. Free. They remind you that you're alive, that you're learning, that you're trying. You weren't made to be perfect. You were made to be honest, to be resilient, to fall and rise again. Failure doesn't disqualify you from love. It doesn't cancel your purpose. It doesn't remove your worth. In fact, it's in those messy, painful places, the places where things didn't go as planned, that your depth is formed, your compassion grows, your strength is revealed. People don't connect to your perfection. They connect to your humanity. They see themselves in your fight. They respect your comeback. They love you not because you've never fallen, but because you keep getting back up. Your story, with all its ups and downs, is still beautiful. Not in spite of the pain, but often because of it. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. You are not disqualified. You're simply in process, growing, learning, becoming. And there is beauty in the becoming. There is grace for the gaps. There is love even in the failures. So stop hiding your story. Stop apologizing for being human. You're allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to fall short. It doesn't make you less lovable. It makes you real. It makes you reachable. It makes you you. And that is always enough. God's love is not performance-based. It's unconditional and unwavering. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to qualify for it. You don't have to work your way up to it. It was there before you even knew how to speak, before you made your first mistake, before you achieved anything. God's love isn't a reward for good behavior. It's not a prize for perfection. It's a promise that never changes. You don't have to keep performing to be accepted. You don't need to hide your weakness to be worthy. You can stop pretending. You can stop striving, because God's love meets you where you are, right in the middle of the mess, right in the middle of the doubt, right in the middle of the struggle. It stays steady through your highs, and it holds firm through your lows. When you fall, His love doesn't flinch. When you fail, His love doesn't fade. When you question, His love doesn't walk away. You see, human love can be fragile. It can be conditional. It can change based on performance, approval, or agreement. But not God's love. God's love is consistent. It doesn't depend on how well you behave. It doesn't disappear when you disappoint yourself. It doesn't keep a scorecard. You can't be too broken for it. You can't out-sin it. You can't outrun it. It's there in your silence. It's there in your anger. It's there in your tears. It's there in your joy. His love is not about who you could become. It's about who you already are. His child, his creation, fully known, fully seen, and still fully loved. You don't have to keep earning what's already been given. You don't have to keep chasing what's already yours. Rest in it. Trust it. Let it anchor you. Because no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter how far you drift, his love remains unshaken, unmoved, unchanging, that the real you is seen, known, and cherished. Even if the world overlooks you, God does not. You may feel invisible sometimes, like your efforts go unnoticed, like your voice is too quiet to matter, like no one really sees the depth of who you are, but there is one who sees it all. Not just your smile, not just your role, not just the version of you the world expects, but the real you, the one who doubts, the one who dreams, the one who's still healing from things no one else knows. God sees that version, and he doesn't look away. He doesn't grow tired of you. He doesn't lose interest. In fact, he delights in who you truly are. Not because you have it all together, not because you're perfect, but because he made you on purpose, and he doesn't make mistakes. You are fully known. Every thought, every fear, every hope, every scar, and still fully cherished. Not tolerated, not pitied, cherished. When others pass by, when they miss what you carry, when they fail to see your value, God never does. He sees the effort you put in when no one's watching. He hears the quiet prayers you whisper at night. He notices the kindness you give, even when it's hard. The world measures worth by numbers, by status, by success. But God measures by heart, and yours is seen, clearly, fully, constantly. You don't have to shout for attention. You don't have to fight to be noticed. You don't have to earn your place. You already have it, right where you are, as you are. Even when you feel small, even when you feel unseen, you are held in the center of divine attention. And that truth is more powerful than any applause, more lasting than any recognition, more grounding than any external validation. You are not forgotten. You are not hidden. You are deeply, intentionally, endlessly loved. Let go of trying to please everyone. Start pleasing the one who made you. You weren't created to live for the approval of others. You weren't designed to fit into everyone's expectations, because no matter how hard you try, someone will always disapprove. Someone will always misunderstand. Someone will always want more. Chasing their approval is a race with no finish line. Or Chernobyl. And it will leave you tired, empty, disconnected from your true self. You can twist and shrink and perform, but if it's not true to who you are, you lose something valuable. You lose your peace. You lose your joy. You lose your connection to the one who gave you life. Pleasing people is temporary. It shifts with their moods, their opinions, their preferences, but pleasing God, that brings stability. It brings purpose. It brings freedom. He doesn't ask you to be perfect. He asks you to be honest. He doesn't need you to impress him. He simply wants you to walk with him, to trust him. Reflect the heart he placed inside you. You don't have to live under pressure. You don't have to constantly wonder if you're enough in someone else's eyes. You are already enough in his. Let go of the need to be liked by everyone. Let go of the fear of disappointing people. Let go of the weight of carrying everyone's expectations. You weren't called to be everyone's answer. You were called to be authentic. You were called to live with intention. You were called to walk in truth. Some will applaud. Some will criticize. That's life. What matters is this. Did you honor who you were created to be? Did you live aligned with your purpose? Did you walk with the one who made you? You don't need permission to be who God created you to be. You just need the courage to stop performing and the faith to follow his voice. Because when you stop chasing their approval and start following his lead, you'll find clarity, you'll find peace, and you'll finally feel free. Return to your true self. Drop the act and embrace your identity. You weren't made to wear a mask. You weren't made to blend in. You weren't made to become someone else just to feel accepted. Somewhere along the way, you started performing. You adjusted your voice. You edited your story. You traded truth for approval. But the longer you play the part, the more distant you become from who you really are. And deep down, you know it. You feel the weight of the pretending, the quiet ache of not being fully known. You were never meant to be a copy. You were created with purpose, with originality, with identity that cannot be replaced. You don't have to live a role someone else wrote for you. You have your own voice, your own values, your own calling. It's time to remember. It's time to return. To come back to the real you, the one before fear stepped in, the one before the world told you who you should be, the one before you believed that fitting in was more important than standing out. You are not too far gone. Your true self is not lost. It's waiting for you to stop performing waiting for you to stop comparing, waiting for you to come home to who you really are. There is no power in pretending. There is power in truth, power in owning your story, power in showing up fully and honestly. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real. The world needs your authenticity, not another imitation, not another carefully curated version of what looks acceptable. Your strength is in your sincerity. Your freedom is in your truth. Your peace is in your identity. So take off the mask, silence the pressure, stand in the truth of who you are, not who others expect you to be, but who you were always meant to be. You don't need to earn your worth. You already have it. Return to that place, to that person, to that truth. Return to your true self. Divine love is constant, even when we drift. God's love doesn't depend on your current condition. You may change, your feelings may shift, your choices may not always reflect your values, but God remains the same. His love isn't fickle. It doesn't rise and fall with your moods or your mistakes. Even when you wander, even when you lose your way, even when your faith grows weak, His love holds steady. It's not performance-based. It's not based on what you've done. It's based on who He is. And who He is love. You may feel far from Him. You may think you've messed up too much. You may carry guilt or shame. But He sees past all of that. He sees the heart beneath the fear. He sees the desire to come back, even if you don't know how to start. You can't outrun His grace. You can't outsin His mercy. You can't outsin His mercy. You can't undo the love that was never dependent on you in the first place. God's love doesn't wait for perfection. It meets you in your imperfection. It doesn't retreat when you're broken. It draws closer. He doesn't say, come back when you've cleaned up. He says, come now, just as you are. No matter how far you've gone, you're never beyond the reach of His arms. He's not watching to condemn. He's waiting to restore. His love is not shocked by your struggle. It's not weakened by your failure. It's not distant when you feel lost. It stays. It covers. It welcomes. You don't have to earn your way back. You simply have to turn around, and you'll find that He was there the whole time, ready, patient, loving you even in the drift. You are not too far gone. You are not forgotten. You are still loved, deeply, completely, endlessly, because divine love never changes. Even when we do, living in truth unlocks freedom. When you embrace your real self, you unlock real power. You were never meant to live in hiding, never meant to carry the weight of pretending. The more you run from your truth, the heavier life feels. You start to shrink yourself. You start to question your worth. And slowly you lose connection to who you really are. But truth is light, and when you step into it, shame loses its grip, fear starts to fade, and freedom begins. Freedom doesn't come from perfection. It comes from authenticity. From standing in your truth, flaws and all, and saying, this is me. Not to impress, not to convince, but simply because hiding is no longer an option. You become powerful the moment you choose to be real, because nothing can control you once you stop pretending. You stop living for applause. You stop fearing rejection. You stop needing to wear a mask. And in that space, you start living boldly. You speak with clarity. You walk with confidence. The world needs that version of you. The one who is rooted in truth. The one who is no longer shaped by other people's expectations, but by purpose, by values, by alignment. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You just need to be honest. Because truth grounds you. It anchors your decisions. It defines your identity. And the moment you own your story, every chapter, you take back your voice. You take back your strength. You begin to lead your life instead of reacting to it. Real power isn't loud. It isn't forceful. It's calm. It's steady. It's born from truth. When you embrace your real self, you stop asking for permission to be you. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. And that is where your life begins. Not the life you were told to live, but the life you were born to live. All of it starts with truth, and truth will always lead to freedom. So don't hide who you are. Don't dilute your truth to fit into places you were never meant to belong. Stand tall in your story. Speak from your heart. Live from your core, because the moment you choose to live in truth is the moment you choose freedom, you choose peace, and you choose power. Not the kind the world gives, but the kind that can never be taken away. The real you is more than enough. Own it, live it, and watch everything change.